You know what I've been craving lately? Milo. Like, I haven't had it for a while, and I really miss that rich, chocolatey, milky taste.
Bro, that's such a random craving, but I get it. That's not just a drink, that's a childhood right there.
Exactly. What actually we talking about today. Welcome to the Folkhound Podcast, where we dive in real story, real memories, and how they connect to our lives today. And today, we're talking about one of the most iconic brand in Vietnam, Milo. All right, let's paint the picture. 14 again, sitting in a class, it's hot, humid, typical Vietnamese, Vietnam weather. You've been studying all morning, you're tired, drained. Uh,
You're just waiting for the that break time like your life depends on it.
exactly, break time hit. You walk out expecting you the usual, some dry bread, maybe a plant of milk cutter.
Yeah, the boring combo.
But then you see it, but milk, a juice, it's Milo. And somehow that cup of Milo hit different.
Not gonna lie, that first sip, different level. Cold, chocolatey, after sweating the whole morning, and that was a leap.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the taste. It was everything around it. The noise, the friends, the football right after. The moment just stuck. Damn.
If you grew up in Vietnam, you definitely had this, like drinking Milo before you play football, drinking it right before you go to school. And that one day you got lucky, like one morning you got lucky, your mom lets you drink Milo, or those occasional Milo events at school.
Yeah. And back then, we didn't think much about it. Or it was just normal. But now, it's kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know, right?
fast forward
So
today. Fast forward today. A lot of us aren't kids now, no more. Some of us are parent now.
now instead of drinking Milo, you're the one buying it for them.
Exactly. And you start not noticing things. The kids are come home tired. They got school, homework, maybe sport. You start thinking, wait, are they getting enough energy through the day?
Just back then, we didn't realize it, but stuff like Milo actually played a role. It wasn't just nice to have; it helped us keep going.
Yeah, through the long class, through the heat, through all that runnings of around after school. And the thing is that hasn't changed. Kids today, they're just as active, they're just as busy, still burning through energy every single day.
If anything, they're even busier now. So, let me ask you this. Huh? When was the last time you had Milo?
And one more importantly, do your kids have the same Milo moment the way you did? Because today, we're not just talking about nostalgia.
Yeah, we're breaking it down properly.
We're gonna talk about why energy matters so much to active kids and how daily nutrients actually affects their performance and how small habits, simple one, can make a real difference. Okay, but let me play the devil advocate here for a second. Are we maybe overthinking this? I mean, we grow up fine, we ate whatever, drank whatever, still played sport, still had energies. So there's nutrition really make that big of a difference.
I get what you're saying, but think about it properly. Yeah, we had energy, but was it consistent?
What do you mean?
Like, remember this, right? You'd feel good in the morning. Then by like 2, maybe 3 p.m., dead. No energy. You can't focus. They feel like learning or playing anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's actually true. That morning crash was real.
Exactly. That's the difference. It's not about whether kids have energy, it's about whether they can sustain it throughout the entire day. Active kids, they're like a sports car, constantly using fuel. Yeah. Sitting in class, they're still using their brain power. Running around, that's physical energy. Sports, well, that's even more energy spent. If they don't refuel properly, they burn out.
Isn't that just true in general? Like, as long they can
Like,
eat, uh, they are fine, right?
not really. Because not all energy works the same way. Some things give you a quick spike, then you crash. Other things help you stay energized longer. That's where daily nutrition choices actually matters. That's also why drinks like Milo have always been a part of that routine. Not just because they taste good, but because they help support that ongoing energy, especially for active kids.
So you're saying that it's not about giving kids more food. It's about giving the right kind of energy at the right time.
Exactly. Think about a typical day, yeah? Morning. They need energy to start out strong. School hours. They need energy to focus. After school, maybe they still want to play or train, which still requires energy. If there's a gap anywhere, you'll see it immediately.
Yeah, and that when you get the kids getting tired early, losing focus on in class, or just not wanting to be active anymore.
Yeah, and that's the key idea here. Active kids don't just need energy, they need consistent energy.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, that actually makes sense. So then the real question is, how do parents actually build that kind of routine?
Exactly, and that's what we're getting into next. Simple, realistic habits that can actually help kids stay energized throughout the entire day.
Hmm. Okay. So I get the idea now. Consistent energy. But let's be real for a second. Most parents aren't nutritionists. They're busy. They got work, schedules, everything's. Do you how do you actually do this in real life without overcomplicating it?
That's the thing, you know? You don't need a perfect system, you just need a consistent one. Because honestly, it's not about doing everything right, it's about avoiding the moments where kids run out of fuel completely. Let's break down a typical day in Vietnam, you know? If the morning is rushed, kids waking up late, maybe they only have a quick breakfast, sometimes they skip breakfast entirely, and maybe just something small before heading to school.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes it's just literally just like piece of bread. That's it, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's already the first problem. Because if they start the day with a low energy input, everything after that becomes significantly harder. Harder to focus in class, easier to feel tired earlier, and less motivation for physical activities. So the first habit is simple. Yeah? Start the day with proper fuel. Not heavy, not complicated, just something that gives them energy, nutrients, and a solid base for the day. That's why something like Milo works well in the morning. It's quick, familiar, and it fits easily into a routine, especially for kids who don't like eating a full breakfast early.
Yeah. Okay. But what about the rest of the day? Because let's be honest, school schedule are long. Here along. Sometimes the kids are at school until the late afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where the second habit comes in. Don't let the tank hit zero. Midday is where most kids crash. That's when they lose focus, feel sleepy, or just stop being active. Think about what we said earlier, yeah? That 2 to 3 p.m. feeling, that wasn't random. That was your body saying, I've got nothing left. So instead of waiting for that crash, you give them something in between, a snack, a drink, something to keep energy levels steady, such as a Milo.
Mhm. Oh, so what about kids who play sport, like football, basketball, stuff like that?
Yeah, that's even more important because those kids are using more energy than average. So before activity, they need something to prepare their body, and after the activity, they need something to recover. And again, this is where something like Milo naturally fits in. Before play helps fuel them. After play helps them recharge. This is not is Milo isn't a replacement for meals, but as part of a daily routine, it works very well.
Hmm. So basically, it's not about one big meal doing everything. It's about like in the morning you want to start strong. Midday you're gonna maintain an energy and activities, support and recovery.
Yeah, that's the structure, basically. And the key thing is, it doesn't have to be complicated. You're not redesigning your whole lifestyle. You're just paying attention to energy dips, filling the gaps, keeping things consistent.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And when you think about it, you can actually see the difference. Like when a kid is properly fluid, they are more active, like less moody, be more focused.
Exactly. And that's when you realize nutrition isn't about health. It directly affects performance, behavior, and confidence as well. At the end of the day, it's not about feeding kids more, it's about fueling them better.
Hmm. All right. I'm convinced. So now the question is, what does all of this really lead to a long term? Like, what the biggest picture here? The bigger picture here.
Exactly. And that's what we'll wrap up with how these small daily habits actually shape a child's growth, development, and future.
You know, we when we started, I thought we was just talking about a drink, but now it's kind of feel bigger than that.
Yeah, because it is bigger than that. We started with a simple memory being 14, hot afternoon, holding a cold cup of Milo. But when you really think about it, that moment represents something more. It was about having the energy to keep playing, being able to stay active with your friends, not feeling tired halfway through the day. Those small moments, they shaped how we grew up.
Yeah, and now it's kind of same story, but different role. Back then, we were kids. Now we are the one responsible for creating those moments.
Exactly. And here's what a lot of parents don't realize. It's not just about raising a healthy child. It's about raising a child who has the energy to explore, the confidence to stay active, and the stamina to keep going. And all of that starts with something simple: consistent daily energy. Because when kids feel energized, they participate more, they try more things, and they don't hold themselves back.
Yeah, yeah, and you can actually see it, like the kid who keeps running while others stop, like the one who stay always stay focused in class, the one who wants to go out and play instead of just staying tired. That doesn't happen randomly.
And that's why something familiar like Milo still holds its place today. Because it's not just part of our childhood, because it becomes part of theirs too. A small, everyday habit that supports a much bigger journey.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. The same thing we used to ring as kids. Now we are giving it to the next generation.
Yeah, in a way, it's like passing something down. Not just the taste, but the experience. Because at the end of the day, active kids aren't just born, they're supported, shaped, and fueled over time.
So maybe it's not just about what kids drink. It's about what the drink help them become, right?
Yeah, and if there's one thing to take away from today, start small. Pay attention to their energy. Build simple, consistent habits, because those small things, they add up.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And hey, maybe it's time to craft a Milo again.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm starting to craving one. Alright?
So see you next
See you
episode.
in the next episode.